Hello everyone, welcome to the end of day wrap here on day 2 of the World Championship, day 1 of PAX here in Seattle. Rich Hagon, Brian David-Marshall with you. BDM, we are used to doing 8 rounds a day at the Pro Tour, and by the end of day 2 we have a top 4. All of that's out the window in our marathon of the World Championship. Today was the mid-rounds sprint.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, normally we would have this very, very long day of Magic, but in this case, we had 2 drafts, 3 rounds of Magic, but a ton of Kaladesh that got squeezed in around that. So
why don't we show you how things played out yesterday, because we got through 7 rounds of the 14 in the Swiss rounds of the World Championship. So we began with draft. Here were the standings after 3 rounds. And as you would expect, because we play in pods of 8 BDM, we ended up with 3 big winners: JC Tao, Marcio Carvalho, the draft master, and Mike Sigrist, former player of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Each draft pod put forth a winner. Those players would, we would not end up, it was unlikely we would end up with more than one 6-0 drafter, of course, over the course of the weekend.
And very possibly none at all.
Yeah.
So that was the state of play after 3 rounds. Everyone, even Andre Strasky, Joel Larson and Niels Norlander, still alive at that point. Our best guess, 10-4, you're in for sure. 9-5, that's the margin of roughly where the top 4 cut may fall. So let's take us to the end of day 1. That's after 7 rounds. Let's take a look at the standings. And again, Marcio Carvalho converted his 3-0 into a 6-1 to co-lead the field with the Grand Prix master, Brian Brown.
Yeah, and Brian Brown did 2-1 in draft, went 4-0 in standard, of course, for him to end up 6-1. You see Mike Sigrist, fell a little bit off the pace there after his 3-0. But, we opened up the day today with Brian Brown and Marcio Carvalho duking it out in the first round of their draft pod here on day 2.
And the thing is that at the end of 7 rounds, only 5 players have a record better than 4-3. On this side, as you can see, only 5 players had a record worse than 3-4. So it was super compressed, as it always is at this particular tournament.
And Rich, just take note for a second of Niels Norlander's 1-6. I'm not saying that to make fun of him at all.
No.
It's worth taking note of.
It is, for reasons that will become clear. So why don't we head into the next day, that is today. We started at lunchtime because we began the morning with Kaladesh. And let's take a look then at our round 10 standings. So this is how this has all ended up. Let's take a look for you. We end up with Marcio Carvalho at 8-2. He was at 8-1, and within a whisker, BDM, of creating a slice of almost unimaginable NTG history, going 3-0 at the Pro Tour, 3-0 at the Pro Tour, thank you, that's 6-0. Come back 3 months later, 3-0 at the Pro Tour, 3-0 at the Pro Tour. All right, I'm the draft master, pop along to the World Championship, 3-0 at the World Championship, 2-0 at the World Championship, and then no, not quite.
Yeah, he ran afoul of JC Tao in the last round of the last possible draft at this level at the Innistrad plane. But JC Tao got the better of him there.
Well, let's look at the 3 pods, because there was top, middle, and bottom. Here's the top pod for you coming up. This is what we saw. So this is an incredible pod, and you only get 1 3-0. It was JC Tao. But who were the 2 1s? Well, of course, we know it was Marcio Carvalho, but also Lucas Plahon and Seth Manfield, 2-1. Inevitably, you then get your 1 and 2s down there, BBD, and then Sigrist and Reed Duke really, really struggling there. Let's go to our second draft pod for you, and these featured the players that were 9-16. So here we have Shota Yasuoka. He's the big winner at 3-0. Luis Scott Vargas, quietly today, he was 4-3 overnight. We've never seen him BDM at the front of the field. 4-3 overnight, very quietly.
He's in 8th place right now in this tournament.
Right. He's at 6-4 as a result of that 2.
And that 1 loss came at the hands, of course, of Yasuoka.
Right. Disappointment for Sam Pardy, 0-3. Now, he's a terrific modern player. Be interesting to see what he brings tomorrow. But the 0-3 there has really put him out of contention. What about our bottom table? Because this is the one where the players most needed the 3-0. it's time to mention that Niels Norlander fella again.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and I guess there's some odd pairings the way these pods have worked.
Yep.
Because we do see 2 3-0 drafters in this pod, 2
Yes.
0-3 drafters in this pod.
That's right. So both Niels Norlander and Joel Larsen win out. Now, Niels Norlander going from 1-6 to 4-6, that's not enough. Even with 4 wins in Modern, he will get to 8-6 and be on the outside looking in. Still a tremendous performance if he could do it. Joel Larsen, though, from 2-5 to 5-5, he will think, come back tomorrow, prevailing wind in Modern, 9-5 could see him in. Let's take another
13th
look.
place right now in the field.
So let's take another look at our overall scoreboard, and we'll try and work out who is still live. So, Kazuyuki Takamura, gone. The 3-7s are gone. No Muller, no Strasky, no Tamada, no Pardy. 4 and 6s are gone. Norlander, Mengucci, Nelson, Watanabe, huge name gone there, and Reed Duke. They are out. By our reckoning, 14 players are left squeezing in to 4 slots tomorrow. So, can Owen Turtenwald fight his way back from 5-5? Larsen, a great day today at 5-5. Paolo, bit of a shrug at 5-5. Sigrist, symmetry, 5-0,
Wow.
0-5. But still, because of that 5-0, great news on the tiebreaks BDM. So I can see Sigrist making a run in Modern and working his way back up this leaderboard.
Right, and then above them you see Steve Rubin and Oliver Chu from that match that we were all watching at the end of the day yesterday that ended in that draw, which could end up being a monkey wrench here in the works as people start to figure out the permutations of who's going to end up in this top 4.
Right, because if either of those, if Chu or Rubin were to go 4-0, 9-4-1, pretty sure that would see them in. But the interesting one is whether potentially that one of them is 8-5-1, and if there is no 8-6s, but maybe the 8-5-1 is enough. So they'll go to bed feeling they're in with a shout. Once you get to the 6 and 4s, you've got LSV and Tiago, then a suite of 7 and 3s. JC Tao, BBD, Seth Manfield, Lucas Blahon, again a great day for him. Shota Yasuoka claimed a victory 3-0 in his pod. But we must end BDM with the leader, and that is Marcio Carvalho, Portugal. Your draft master has utterly delivered in draft. Now it's time to turn our attention to Modern.
And I just want to point out that if you look down this list of names here, JC Tao is here because of his win at Pro Tour Oath of the Gatewatch, which was a Modern Pro Tour. And this was a Pro Tour win that ended up with, some alterations to the banned and restricted list in Modern. So this is a breaker of formats. That was the tournament where East-West Bowl really emerged. I'm really excited to see what those guys have brought to the table in Modern now that they've, are in this new fixed, non-broken Modern.
Okay. Well, we are going to see 24 of the finest players battling with the finest Modern decks over the next 4 rounds. That comes your way tomorrow. The final 4 on Sunday. All the fun of Kaladesh. PAX just keeps getting better. Don't you dare miss a thing. For BDM, everyone around the Wizards of the Coast community here, over 200 of us bringing you coverage from PAX this year. We'll see you tomorrow.